for today's lesson, the focus is going to be on perimeter. This comes under the topic of area, perimeter and volume. So we're going to start with the first part of the objective, which is perimeter. So if in your big books you can write the heading Gwaith dosbarth at perimeter and today's date. So the perimeter of a shape is the distance around the outside of the shape. To work out the perimeter of a shape, we must add up all of the sides. The units for perimeter are usually the same as the units given in the question: centimetres, metres, millimetres, etc. The only time they will change is if it asks you to convert to a different unit, okay? But more often than not, you don't need to worry about that, and you can just look at the question to see which units are given and make sure you have that written down in your answer. So if you can copy these three sentences into your big books. Okay, moving on to some examples then. So again, in your big books, if you can put a side heading examples. Question 1, calculate the perimeter of the following shapes. So we got A, the shape is a rectangle. So it doesn't matter what the shape is, the perimeter will always be the distance around the outside. So if you imagined you walked a lap of the outside of the shape, that would give you the perimeter. So if you can draw the shape in your book, it doesn't need to be drawn to scale. And if you can use a pencil and a ruler to draw it, please. So the perimeter equals, well, we can see the length of the rectangle is 9 plus the width of the rectangle is 4. So we got 9, add 4, and then we need to account for this side as well. But because it's a rectangle, we know it's exactly the same as this length here. So you need to add another 9 centimetres. And then the last part is this side here, which we know is the same as that side. So the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So we need to add another 4 centimetres. So 9 add 4 equals 13. 13 add 9 is 22. 22 add 4 equals 26 centimetres. Another way that you can work it out for a rectangle is to add these two. 9 add 4 is 13, and then double it to get 26, because we know we've got one more of each side. Okay? It's important that you show your workings as well, so you write out the sum and then give your answer. So, example B. Here we've got a hexagon, a 6-sided shape, okay, with the side being 5 metres. This time you can see each shape has got a little, each side, has got a little dash on it. So the dash tells us that each side is equal. So every side on this shape, on this hexagon, is 5 metres long. Again, you can draw that in your big books as accurately as you can, but obviously not to scale. So this time, the perimeter equals, well, we could either do 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, add 5, okay, like we put down as our method. We add up each of the sides. So 5 add 5 is 10, add 5 is 15, add 5 is 20, add 5 is 25, add 5 is 30. So we know that it equals 30 metres. Or, a quicker way that you may have noticed with this, because all of the sides are equal, we can do 5 times, there's 6 sides, so there's 6 lots of 5, 5 times 6 equals 30 metres, and we can work it out that way. Final example then, example C. Again, if you can draw that in your big books, it doesn't need to be to scale, but just as neatly as possible. So with this question, we got quite a lot of sides with lots of different measurements. This is known as a compound shape. So a compound shape is a shape that's made up of 2 or more basic shapes. So you can see this is made up of 2 rectangles almost to create that L shape. So sometimes what's often helpful with a compound shape is to write a little starting point for you to make sure that you have all of the sides. So perimeter equals, this time I'm going to write it as a tower sum as well. So we've got 4, then we need to add the 2, then we're adding 7, then we're adding 3, then we've got this side here where we're adding 11, and then finally our last side until we end up back at the start is 5 centimetres. So starting with our units, and remembering your place value here when you're lining up your tower sum. 4 add 2 is 6, 6 add 7 is 13, 13 add 3 is 16, 16 add 1 is 17, 17 add 5 is 22. So 2 down, carry 2, 1, add 2 is 3. So the perimeter of this shape is 32 centimetres. If you prefer to write it as a sum going along your page, 4 add 2 add 7 add 3 add 11 add 5, that is absolutely fine as well, as long as you show your workings to get your answer, and don't forget to put your units on the end.